Hello, my name is Gerhard Adam, and in this module we will take a look at navigating through the ISPF environment. So we will take a closer look at how to get between different panels and different options. ISPF is constructed as a hierarchy of panels. So we have our primary menu, and then we can select individual items from that menu. In turn, some of those items will lead us to other menus, which will then in turn lead us to other choices and other menu options. So as a result, what we will have is we will have menus within menus often that will get us to the final destination of what function we're trying to perform. As a result, one of the things that we have then is that we can also nest our choices. In other words, what we can do is if we know where we're going, we can specify those menu items so that if we start with option 3 and then in a subsequent menu we have option 2, we can specify that as 3.2. In addition, we can often choose action bar items that will take us directly to that without having to jump through the various panels or the intermediate panels. When we are in a panel, we can also jump to another panel directly through the use of an equal sign. And the equal sign basically allows us to go from an existing panel into a new panel where the equal sign represents that we are branching back through the primary menu to get to our destination. So for example, if I'm in an edit screen, I can use an option equal 3.2, for example, which will then basically take me back to the primary menu and then go to the utilities option and then option 2 within that. And so it's a way of taking a shortcut without the necessity of having to back out of a particular function and then go down a different path. We can jump directly to the screen that we want to go to. Once we are in a display, the PF3 or the end command will take us up to the previous level, or it will allow us to exit whatever we're doing. In addition, the cancel command will perform a similar function. The difference being primarily that cancel will also discard any changes that we have made, whereas the end command will save the changes that we have made. We can use the action bars, as we mentioned in the last module, where we can tab to the action bar, and then we can also use the choice that we have from the drop-down menu, or we can select the mnemonic character that's been assigned to the particular action, and then use PF10 if it's been defined as an action character. So in those cases, what we're doing then is that we're able to use that mechanism that we have available in the drop-down menu to jump directly to the panel that we want. And of course, we also have an actions command with the mnemonic letter that will allow us to do the same things. Here's an example of navigating through 3 panels. From the primary menu, we would select option 3, which will take us to the utilities screen. From option 3, we can select the 4th option, which is our dataset list utility, and then you can see the display for the dataset list utility as the final screen that we want to go to. And as we mentioned, we can nest these conditions. So what we can do in this case, by specifying 3.4 on the primary menu, we go directly to the dataset list utility. And as we've mentioned, we can use the equal sign then to jump directly between different panel options. Let's consider some navigation options now as we look at the choices that we have here. And for this example, I'm going to use option 3 for the utilities, since that provides us multi-levels of drill down that we can take a look at. So for example, if I select option 3, I go to my utility screen. And you can see from this selection panel, I now have another set of options that I can use, and I will select the dataset list option 4. And now this brings me to another panel where I can enter information in order to be able to display other results. So in this particular case here, what we're looking at then is the ability for me now to list all of the data sets, for example, that belong to me. So if I hit enter, you can see that I've now got a list of all of the data sets that I'm interested in. If I hit PF3, you can see I back out of these panels exactly the same way. As we've mentioned, I can use the nesting option where I can select 3.4, for example, to go directly to this particular panel. And now, instead of having passed through the intermediate panels, I can go directly here and now perform the function that I want. For example, if I was also in the edit screen, one of the things that I could do is that in this case here, for example, for the edit, if I wanted to go directly to the dataset list utility, I can simply type in an equal sign 3.4 and I will go directly to that panel. So the equal sign, as we said, basically indicates we want to use the primary menu options and then 3.4 from that menu options. So while we don't physically see ourselves traveling through this path, this is the mechanism that ISPF uses so that he knows exactly where we need to go in order to get to the panel that we want. So this jump command is extremely useful in taking shortcuts to get us directly to where we want to be. Again, for example, I'm looking at the dataset list here that I have. If I wanted to go directly to the edit panel, I could simply type in equal to, and that would now take me to my edit panel. So in all of these cases, what I'm doing is I'm using the shortcuts then to jump around to well-known panels that I'm used to working with. So this is one of the key benefits that we have available in terms of being able to navigate around. One of the other points that we made was that we could use the drop-down menus or the action bar. And in this case here, you can see the action bar gives us additional choices, just like we had within the utilities panel option, except now from the primary menu, we can select this as the vehicle to directly go there. So if I want to see the dataset list, I can simply select option 4, and once again, I'm back in my dataset list utilities panel. So all of these provide different mechanisms for us to be able to navigate around and take advantage of the particular screen that we're on, providing both basic facilities as well as specific facilities that are associated with those commands. So that's essentially what we're dealing with when it comes to the navigation.